Yo everyone, in this video we continue the story of what if Raditz went to Earth with Goku. Be sure to stick around to the end so you hear the weekly discussion question, where your comment can appear on the next video. Anyways, let's start.
Last time on Dragon Ball, the Saiyans, Kakarot and Raditz have saved the world many times, from the Pilaf gang to the Red Ribbon Forces. Their latest conquest over evil has been the defeat of Piccolo Daimyo. Unbeknownst to them, two Saiyan ships are headed to Earth in search for the Dragon Balls. Meanwhile, Raditz has one goal set in his mind: the defeat of the Emperor Frieza. The two brothers now continue their training in preparation for the next World Martial Arts Tournament. What kind of dangers will the brothers face? The challenger of a lifetime is decided now. Enemies from a familiar past. What if Raditz was sent to Earth with Goku, Part 2?
It was a rainy day in the martial arts temple. The gang of the Dragon Warriors had just united for the next tournament. Kakarot, Krillin, Tenshinhan, Yamcha, Chaozu, Gohan, and Roshi. Even Bulma was there. But there was one person missing: Raditz. Just as they thought of that, the Saiyans' energy was felt inside the temple. It was sparking up. Very impressive. They all went inside and saw him staring down at another person. The other person was green and wore a turban. He was obviously very powerful too, but nothing compared to Raditz. Kakarot put his hand on his brother's shoulder and then smiled at each other. Raditz hadn't realized his power was rising, but it was because the man he was looking at was the offspring of King Piccolo, and Raditz was getting upset. But the time would come to challenge him again. Remember, in this timeline, everyone is a little stronger and more experienced, as they had been training with both Gohan and Roshi, and for longer periods of time, as well as got tougher through sparring and training with Raditz. Raditz was also glad to see everyone, and they all gathered for the drawing of the names. There they found a mysterious man who emoted a strange energy, though they didn't pay much attention to him. There was also a nameless woman who challenged Kakarot. Once again, Raditz imposed on himself the rule of limiting himself, as to have more fun and challenges in the tournament. Kakarot did something similar. The battles go on and become legendary in the tournament, starting with the preliminaries, where a reborn Tao Pai Pai was defeated by Raditz. The matches were fairly uneventful, though impressive. The mystery girl turned out to be Chi-Chi, who ended up in love with Kakarot. For the semi-finals, the first match was Shen vs. Ma Jr., where Kakarot and Raditz realized there was a strange presence coming from Shen. Telepathically, Shen explained to the Saiyans that he was actually Kami, the god of Earth, and he had to take care of Piccolo himself. They were both surprised, but Raditz thought it was strange for him to have such a low power. Piccolo won the match, as Raditz predicted. He then turned to Kakarot and Raditz menacingly, telling them that they were next, just as Kami was strapped inside the small container, while Shen's body was free from his control. Roshi and Gohan recognized that the attack that had been used on him was the Mafuba, and they were perplexed. This went far above a regular tournament. Though Raditz didn't care about whatever feud he had against Piccolo, he needed to defeat him, just because he had challenged him. His Saiyan pride told him to do so. Piccolo then ate the container. Next match is Kakarot vs. Raditz, but the two Saiyans were distracted the whole time. They knew whoever would win would have to save Kami. With that in mind, they had a bombastic battle, and in the end, Raditz came out on top like last time. But Raditz smiled at his brother and told him that they would have an all-out battle soon, but first, they needed to take care of Piccolo. The battle began and Piccolo was clearly at a disadvantage. Even after turning into a giant Namekian, he stood no chance. But Raditz was going too far, his Saiyan heritage clearly influencing his actions. As he punched the Namekian onto the ground over and over again, Kakarot screamed at him to calm down, but it was Bulma's pleas that made him stop. Raditz hesitated for a second and looked at the blood in his knuckles. He wasn't like he used to be. He was better than he used to be. Just then, Piccolo blasted him in the face through the mouth beam. A direct hit like this hurt Raditz greatly, but he had enough. Raditz punched Piccolo one last time in the stomach, making him throw up the bottle he had swallowed. Piccolo was knocked out, and Raditz was declared the victor. Raditz threw the bottle at Roshi, who released Kami from it. Kami thanked everyone for their help, and was ready to kill Piccolo.
Once I kill him, I will die too. But I want you to be Kami, Kakarot. You have a kind heart. I would offer it to Raditz, but he's a bit...
You're not just killing him, we're not gonna let you. He'll be fun to fight again sometime.
In reality, I think you are right.
We may need his help after all.
They all looked at him in confusion, as Kami explained that Piccolo was only one of the problems they have, and there are 2 ships heading down to Earth. Raditz's face went cold. He knew that they would want to take over Earth for Frieza. But yes, Frieza. He and Kakarot made a pact to defeat Frieza. Maybe these Saiyans would be their ticket to him, but he didn't know any other Saiyans that were still alive. He knew that they would need to train as much as possible before they came, and he looked at the rest of the fighters. They all nodded in unison, and they agreed to go to Kami's temple and train before the Saiyan arrival. And so the fighters prepare for the Saiyan arrival. And to their surprise, Kakarot and Chi-Chi are going to have a child. But even so, Kakarot explained to Chi-Chi that he will need to protect Earth so their son can grow up happily. Chi-Chi wasn't very happy herself, but she understood. In pairs, the fighters entered the Room of Spirit and Time, while the rest trained with Popo. Kakarot and the fighters also tried to convince Piccolo to help, but he simply flew away, no intentions of helping. But while he was out in the wild, he realized that if he wanted to make this planet his own, he'd have to defeat the Saiyans. So he ended up training on his own. And little by little, he ended up working out at the lookout as well, where he surprises everyone. The time came to face the Saiyans. The Sea Fighters are stronger and more well prepared than their original counterparts, except for Kakarot. Though his training with Raditz had pushed him to his limit and vice versa, this Kakarot never really trained with King Kai, so all of his techniques and power-ups are not available. That means the Kaioken is not usable at all. The 2 Saiyan pods crash onto the city, and a power then quickly zooms to an empty landscape. Nappa and Vegeta had arrived. They claim that Raditz is a traitor, which Raditz acknowledges as having some truth to it.
I may be a traitor to you, but my only goal was surviving in a strange world.
Vegeta and Nappa then turn to Kakarot and ask him to join them, but Kakarot refuses.
So be it. Nappa, bring out the Cybermen!
Raditz looks over at the human fighters and tells them to watch out. They might not look like much, but they are incredibly strong. Everyone gets ready, but rather than fighting one by one, they all take them all at once. Chaozu is the only one really struggling, and Yamcha was saved from the Cybermen's self-destruct blast by a warning that Raditz gave him. Thus, no one dies in the first battle. However, when Nappa steps into the ring, it's another story. He is relentless in his attack, and even a powered-up Sea Fighter stands no chance. Kakarot and Raditz's combined power just barely holds him off, while the others recuperate. Piccolo and Krillin also join in the match, so it's a little more even. However, Nappa ends up killing Krillin. Everyone is horrified, and the battle stops for a second. Kakarot's ki begins to rise sharply, but Raditz grabs him and tells him to calm down. He then turns to Vegeta and Nappa and says that this has gone too far. He isn't going to give them the Dragon Balls, but he wants to help them defeat Frieza. Vegeta smirks and asks why he cares. Raditz explained that,
I know something you don't. I know that Frieza was the one to destroy planet Vegeta and doom our race. I don't want this battle to continue, and I won't forgive you for killing Krillin. But we both have the same goal.
Vegeta's eyes widened with the story about Frieza, but shakes his head. He doesn't want to ally himself with them. So Raditz tells them about a little secret technique that the Saiyans will only learn if they are allies. Raditz tells Vegeta to check his scouter, and he realizes that Kakarot's power has risen extremely high, even though it was dormant before. Vegeta realizes that the Earthlings had found a way to hide their power and exploded. He then tells them that after this mission, he will come back and take the Dragon Balls. Raditz smirks, and Vegeta nods, and tells them that maybe an alliance could be useful, at least for this one trick. Time passes, and Kakarot is mad about Raditz not avenging Krillin, but Raditz tells him that defeating Frieza is their primary objective. A fight between the two breaks out, but quickly stopped by Kami. He tells the two that Krillin is in the other world, but not for nothing. He will train with King Kai and come back to help out. They can revive him. Everything calms down, and everyone begins to get ready to train for a bit before they depart against the Frieza Force. Though the Earthlings don't want to help the Saiyans, they do want to help Kakarot and Raditz, and make sure that Krillin didn't die for nothing. Piccolo, on the other hand, is completely opposed to the idea of helping at all. Some time passes, and both Nappa and Vegeta have become masters of ki sensing and hiding. They have also gotten to train with all the Sea Fighters in a 1v5 scenario. This means that both the Saiyans and the Sea Fighters have gotten stronger. So, the plan begins.
Hey
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back. And now back to our show.
First, Nappa and Vegeta will head to planet Frieza, followed by the rest, who will take a ship made by Dr. Briefs, inspired by both the Saiyan pods and the Namekian ships. Once Nappa and Vegeta arrive on the planet Frieza, they realize that Frieza isn't there at all, but instead he had gone to planet Namek. Turns out, he had been listening in to the conversations. They relay the news to Earth's team. Piccolo's ears perk up at the name of the planet, and decides that he must go as well. So, with a change of course, they head to planet Namek. The Saiyans land there first, and begin to do what they can to take down the Frieza Force. Vegeta is really the only one to have enough power to defeat any of them. Once the Earthlings do arrive, Zarbon and Dodoria are already defeated thanks to Nappa and Vegeta. They are now hiding out from Frieza with a single Dragon Ball. The Earth's forces give them a senzu bean to share, and they decide to look for the Dragon Balls. As it turns out, there are only 2 left that Frieza doesn't have, and one is a Grand Elder's place, where the Sea Fighters head to next. There, after a discussion, all of them get their powers unlocked, even Piccolo. The Grand Elder has to talk to Piccolo, who tells them that he feels good in him. Piccolo doesn't want to hear it, and flies away. Meanwhile, Nappa and Vegeta sneak onto Frieza's ship. While there, they realize that Frieza is talking to somebody. He was calling the Ginyu Force. The 2 Saiyans are worried, but wait until Frieza leaves the ship to steal the Dragon Balls. Frieza was heading out to Grand Elder's place, where he had last read that the Dragon Ball was at. However, Vegeta and Nappa had previously destroyed all the scouters, so he was blind. The Sea Fighters have all the Dragon Balls, and are about to summon the dragon. However, they realize that they need someone that speaks Namekian. They resign to go back to Grand Elder's place, until Birder and the rest of the Ginyu Force arrives, taking the Dragon Balls. Vegeta tells everyone to hide their power, but that won't help, as the Ginyu Force already has the Dragon Balls. Ginyu then takes them back to Frieza, while the rest begin to battle. Raditz has no patience for this, and it's an all-out brawl between the 4 Ginyu Force members and the 8 Sea Fighters. Though they have strength in numbers, the Ginyu Force is clearly powerful, though the difference in power is much lower than in the original story. The battle is intense, with Chaozu and Goldo using their psychic powers against one another, until Tenshinhan manages to blast through Goldo with a Dodonpa while he's distracted. Nappa and Vegeta go against Recoome, who pummels them hard. However, Nappa and Vegeta get some help from Piccolo that evens the odds. He is tough, but ultimately taken down. Kakarot and Yamcha defeat Jais and Birder along with Raditz's help. At this point, thanks to all the training and power-ups, they are about as strong as Vegeta was after the Ginyu battle, some being stronger than others, of course. The Saiyans are extremely powerful. The battle ends, and all of them are very hurt. They pass out 3 senzu beans, dividing them in 2s, so 6 of them could get them. Raditz didn't get one, but Vegeta and Nappa suggested that Frieza's ship must have a healing tank. Piccolo wasn't too hurt, so he simply regenerated. Ginyu is waiting at the ship, while Frieza is at the Elders fighting Nail. The team knows that they can take Ginyu, but Vegeta tells Kakarot to take Raditz into the healing tank, while everyone else stays back and fights. Kakarot does as told, but not everything goes well. Once he begins to lose, Ginyu switches bodies with Vegeta. This confuses everyone, and Vegeta ends up severely hurt. Once Nappa realizes what just happened, they all gang up on Ginyu and force him to switch bodies once again, this time with Vegeta, as to regain his body. Before Ginyu could switch again, Piccolo blasted him away, killing him. Not long after, Frieza bursts through the scene, holding Nail by the neck. He had brought him to help with the wish, but he was too pissed to even think about it. Vegeta challenged him instantly, but was far too hurt. So instead, Raditz pushed him aside and went for the Tyrant. Raditz was actually doing really well against Frieza. He was actually even winning. Nail told everyone that the Dragon Balls would soon be useless, as the Grand Elder would soon die, but he wanted to help them. So he tells them that if they have a wish, they better wish for it fast. Meanwhile, Vegeta is taken into the healing chamber that Raditz was in, but Nappa convinces him that he could even be a Super Saiyan after this. The battle pushes Frieza into his second form, and even so, Raditz could still keep up. Meanwhile, the wish is set to bring Krillin back to life and take him to Namek. Krillin arrives soon after, but hides his power. He already knows Frieza's strength, and although he's incredibly strong, he could probably not stand up to him. Instead, he begins to create a Genki Dama in the background. Once Vegeta gets out of the healing chamber, everyone is tired and beat. Vegeta is the last one that can stand up against Frieza, who is all the way in his last form. Raditz, Vegeta, Nappa, and Kakarot all team up, to charge at him, while Krillin finishes the Spirit Bomb. The distraction works, and Frieza is thrown off by the Spirit Bomb. It seems that he had been killed, and the Saiyans begin to celebrate. Well, Vegeta and Nappa curse at Krillin. Suddenly, a boom is heard, and Kakarot is dead on the floor. Another boom, Yamcha's on the floor. Frieza laughed, but everyone was quiet until Raditz's hair began to glow into a Super Saiyans. Everyone who was left alive was terrified, but Vegeta was enraged. Krillin took Yamcha while Piccolo took Kakarot. They began to fly away along with Tenshinhan and Chaozu. The two Saiyans stayed behind, watching the battle. Krillin wanted to stay back and help, but Tenshinhan told them that this was the Saiyans' battle. The Raditz wanted to battle alone, the other Saiyans refused to leave and began to battle Frieza as well. It was an explosive battle, and the planet itself shook. Frieza even threw a sphere that would destroy the planet at any moment. It wouldn't be long until it blew up, and the heroes couldn't wait much longer. On Earth, Kami was ready to make a single wish. Krillin talked to Kaio-sama and told them to wish everyone back to Earth. However, Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa refused to be wished away. They all wanted to die as warriors. The planet crumbled around them, and the three Saiyans blasted their oppressor. For a second, you could see a glimpse of both Vegeta and Nappa's auras sparking golden like Raditz's, before a flash of light engulfed the planet. The universe is now at peace, but Raditz and the others were nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, on Earth, everyone pondered if they should have revived Raditz and the others. Time passes, and Porunga is summoned, as he was wished back to Earth along with everyone else. The heroes wished to have the Namekians have a new planet, and for them to be taken there. Then they wished for Kakarot to be brought back to life. Now alive, Kakarot asked what happened. He was sad to know that his brother was dead. However, Shenron was summoned not long after, and they asked to revive the fallen Saiyans. But Shenron could not do so. They were alive, and refused to be brought back to Earth. Kaio-sama then tuned in with a message from Raditz. He said,
Kakarot, Krillin, everyone. We have defeated Frieza and escaped on the Ginyu ships. I planned on returning, but now I think it is better for me to stay away. I thank you all in the Earth for taking me in, but I am a proud Saiyan by blood. Now Vegeta, Nappa, and I will travel together, getting stronger. We will meet you again someday. Especially you, Bulma, and Kakarot.
And that was it. Raditz had abandoned Earth to become a full-fledged Saiyan once again. Meanwhile, Kakarot is left to his own devices, hoping to see his brother one more time. But Raditz's adventures continue, now in space. And that's where our story leaves off for now. Do you want to see more? Then let's try to get this video to 10,000 views. Though, I think the Smug Squad can do a lot more, don't you think? Be sure to join the Smug Squad by subscribing and clicking the bell icon so you know when the next part is uploaded. This week's discussion question is, who do you think deserved more screen time and should return in Dragon Ball Super? Also, why? Raditz or Nappa? Leave your answers in the comments and you may appear in the next video. Anyways, until we meet again. See ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Smugstick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.